Alright, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be analyzing two hype in the 2K community's basketball skills. We're going to be giving them NBA comparisons, their strengths, their weaknesses, and yeah, let's get it. First up on the list, we have LSK, who's a pure stretch big. This guy can shoot the ball from deep, and I mean deep. As you can see here, he's pulling up from half court, the logo, he's nailing them. My NBA comparison for Chris is probably Kristaps Porzingis. They're both scoring bigs. They're not a defensive liability. They got shot blocking skills, rebounding skills. They can pass the ball, They can do everything a big man needs to do. What's unique about Chris is he can dribble down the court, he can play make, and he could run the fast break. That's what most big men in the NBA cannot do. Although Chris is known as mainly a shooter, he also has a nice inside game. He has a silky smooth mid-range shot, he can drive in, he can dunk, he can catch lobs, he can also go in for putbacks. LSK is obviously the best basketball player in 2 Hype, maybe even the YouTube community, who knows. Next up on the list, I have Jesser. He is probably the second best player in 2 Hype. He has an all-around game with his size and weight. I would say Jesser is mainly an inside type of player. He has a spin move he always goes to. He has that mid-range shot. He also drives a lot for contact layups. The thing about Jesser is he's an all-around type of player, He can rebound the ball. He can play make for his teammates. He can also shoot the deep ball very well. The main concern is his jump shot. If you've watched his basketball videos, you'll see his form is very awkward. One of his legs are always out while he's shooting the ball. My comparison for Jesse is probably Luka Doncic. They both have a nice all-around game. They're not elite at defense. They're not a liability on defense. Him and Chris are kind of like the Kristaps Porzingis and Luka Doncic duo. Next up, we have Zack TTG. This guy is a pure sharpshooter. I would straight off the bat compare him to Robert Covington because of their 3-point ability and their perimeter defense. Zack is that catch and shoot role player that when you see him in the corner and you find him, he'll make that 3 any day. Zack is also a pretty aggressive rebounder if you've seen in the 2 Hype videos. I'd just say he lacks playmaking is probably his weakness. Next up, we have big man Jiedel. Jiedel loves big men. His game is kind of similar to big men. Straight off the bat, I'm going to compare him to Karl Malone. He has low post spin moves, hook shots, the big men type of play. Jiedel doesn't really excel at rebounding or playmaking or defending. I'd say he's average at all of them. I'd say James' weakness is probably awareness. The man looks at the ball when he's dribbling, so that's a disadvantage already. On defense, God knows where he's looking all the time. I'm just kidding. Any team could use a spot shooter like James, so yeah. Next up, we have Cash, who is a pure perimeter lockdown. This guy might lack some offensive abilities, but at least he can do his job. Cash's NBA comparison is probably Patrick Beverley. He's got that lockdown perimeter D, decent playmaking, decent rebounding, an okay 3-ball maybe, and some good slashing ability. I mean, at the end of the day, any team can use a defender to frustrate the opponent. Next up on the list, we have flightreacts. Alright, his skill is pretty questionable. Has a lot of weaknesses actually, not a lot of strengths. My NBA comparison for flightreacts is probably Stephen Curry. They're both awful shooters. They have no defensive IQ. Clip of Curry playing here, he has no shot IQ. He's just chucking up contested shots. He's airballing them. In the clip here of Flight airballing shots, you see the resemblance? They have horrible shot IQ. They have horrible shots. They have horrible shots. They're airballing their shots. Another example of flightreacts defense right here. Where the hell is he looking? Alright, he just gets crossed, and the resemblance here with Curry, I don't know where Curry's looking either. They both don't have eyeballs. It might just be because Flight's high, but moving on to Mopi. Mopi. Alright, this guy is a unique type of player, so there's no archetype like him in the NBA. That's why we're going to the WNBA. I'm but just had to be done, you know. Mopi lacks size, strength. He lacks everything. Mopi's jump shot, yeah, it needs some work. It's a one-arm push. It's like my jump shot back in 5th grade. Although Mopi basically lacks skill in every category of basketball, he does have some speed. He can slither through the courts, you know. He's so small. He's just so fast. He's like a snake. By the way, this list was in chronological order from best to worst, if you guys didn't realize already. But thank you for watching the video. We out.